Yeah.
I only looked at it.
I haven't even
Yeah.
talked
Yeah.
Go ahead and. Start here.
Recording something else?
No, I just,
That's a recorder, isn't it?
okay. So we, it's our Gold Rush March meeting, March 19th at 6:30. We do a roll call.
Council meeting.
All right,
You said Gold Rush, it's council meeting.
I had Gold Rush written up beside council. It's a council meeting. Roll call
Okay, Mayor Ikorst,
here.
Counselor Pendergrass,
Here.
Counselor Phillips,
Here.
Counselor Richard,
Here.
Counselor Development.
Close.
Close up.
Close enough here.
All right, so we have approval of the agenda. Is there any items to agenda or amend?
Yes, I would like to make a couple, if I could, please.
Sure.
Okay, under D, planning and zoning, I'd like to put, number 3 for an action item. And that's to approve John Evans, to the P and Z committee. And I have one other one, which is under number 7, under unfinished business. I would like to put number 3, that's there to be put into next month, please.
Remove it and put it in the next month?
Next month. Table it to next month.
Table. Okay. In the P and Z, did you want to table
Yeah.
action item 1 and 2 also?
Yes, we could, because those were both put off until next month. So,
So we'll table.
yeah, we can do 1 and 2 off.
So we're tabling those? Yeah, to
So
the next month.
Yeah, recommendation. I would like to table under Gold Rush, item 1, the resolution, the 2024-06, and all the associated documents. I would like to table that to a special city council meeting on April the 4th with the Gold Rush board.
So, and then I'll just speak to it quickly. So the idea is that all those documents are gonna be adopted at the same time. So the Gold Rush Board will adopt certain documents and then the city council will adopt certain documents, but it kind of makes sense to do them at the same meeting. So, but that would require you all to be there on April 4th, so, you know, there's that, as long as you can come to the
That's our
meeting.
monthly Gold Rush meeting.
Yeah, so that'll be.
Or Thursday, yeah. And the last item I have is just, a reminder that the subject matter is to be described for the closed personnel meeting that must adhere to Minnesota statute 13B.01 subdivision 3. Anyone would like to amend the description of the closed session?
Let's see, how do I want to put that? As a personnel matter that there is dealing with, an upcoming employee or a contract employee that's on the payroll now, or will be on the payroll.
Okay. I think that's the subject matter. So the idea is it's a,
Basically, it's just a personnel issue, is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the subject has to be, say, if it's a person, that person, I believe, needs to be here.
If it's a closed meeting on this one, I don't believe for what we're gonna be discussing off of that. I know Mike and I have had some lengthy discussions about this, and I think it's very important that it be done in a closed meeting, not in an open session.
Well, the statute doesn't really allow that.
It says to describe what will be discussed, and so it's a personnel matter of what that person and identifying, I just put it as a potential or a upcoming employee.
Are they be hired or gonna hire?
We've already got him under contract. So he's not here, but is under contract.
The
That's-
person is not.
All three of you talked about it already?
Nope,
No,
I don't know what he's talking about,
No.
I'm just trying to keep him saying from his or hers.
Oh,
Well, I mean, if you're discussing it, typically you have to identify the employee. And
yeah,
that's, I've never seen that done. Otherwise, I wrote the memo. Did everybody read my memo?
That's what I thought. So we put down Jason Baker.
Okay, and are you evaluating, I mean, you're evaluating his performance?
In a situation that has to deal with him. And it could be under number 2, part 3, which consider allegations or charges against an individual.
Okay.
so is there
I
an
think
issue?
that's-
Because, I mean, we discuss other employees that haven't even been hired in closed session,
Well,
don't we?
Well,
only for I mean, when you do your performance evaluations, that's the only time I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, I think the memo speaks for itself. Did you guys read the memo?
Your memo?
Yeah.
And that's why I said for the other part of it was the number
So
3,
one of the available,
or number 2, rather.
one of the available reasons to close the session is to evaluate an employee and, consider allegations against an employee.
Exactly. And this fits with that.
Okay. All right.
It's hard to say much more than that.
That's it.
It'll be
Same
closed,
time.
it'll be closed session before we can talk.
the person you're talking about has the opportunity. If it's about that person's review, he has the option for an open or a closed meeting.
Not a
Unless I'm
review.
missing something, that
Not a
person's
review.
not here.
Not a review.
It's not a review at all.
No, but it's a personnel meeting about the gentleman.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a right to be present, I think. Well, why don't, I didn't know that, so why don't you just move on? I'll advise further on it, maybe. And that's at the very end of the agenda. That's probably gonna be 2 hours from now.
All right, so that was,
Well, the whole thing is already on the agenda already, correct?
Yeah,
It's already on the
there,
agenda.
but it's on
Business action,
number 8.
new business, first action number under new business.
Right.
so your amendment would say to add what to the subject? What is the subject again?
Subject fits under number 3 and has to do with Jason Baker, and it's going to be personnel discussion.
But the closed session is about Mr. Baker. Mr. Baker's what we want to say.
Potential city administrator. Upcoming,
Incoming city.
and then incoming.
Right, so, I make a motion, we approve the agenda with the following changes, amendments under D 1 and 2, we table. Under D number 3, we approve John Evans for committee member. Under Gold Rush, we're going to table item 1.
We're still gonna talk about number 2 then.
Yeah, we'll talk about number 2.
And we're going to update VI unfinished business number 3, we're going to table to the April meeting. And under Roman numeral 8, new business, we're going to add a subject matter, Mr. Baker's upcoming administrator position. The word position. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, public forum is city council welcomes and encourages participation from community members. Please keep in mind that your comments must be pertinent to city business and message here to data privacy rules. No employees' name may be used. Please do not expect action from the council this evening regarding your concerns. To address the city council during public forum, please step up to the podium, state your name, address, and fill out the form provided, and speakers will be recognized only once. You will be timed. Begin speaking with the green card is raised and yellow card indicates you have 30 seconds left. The red card indicates you have reached your 3-minute limit and must stop. So with that, those who'd like to speak to public forum, please come to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Joy Bertzinger. Oh,
Are you going to speak to public forum or the age friendly?
public forum.
Thank you.
Yep, 2 times. You give me 2 times. I have a question about the downtown Orinoco Gold Rush. First of all, I want to say I appreciate all the time and effort that everyone puts into it. I know from personal experience how involved it is, the time dedication. I just have a couple questions. In your changes, will Downtown Orinoco Gold Rush Days become a standalone nonprofit? Or will it still be somehow associated with a city?
Maybe a standalone nonprofit.
Okay. So my question will be, if it's a standalone, how will you provide or allow Gold Rush to use the city's right of way? And in that case, if somebody else wants to use the city right of way, how will you prevent or allow them to use the city's right of way?
In the past, Gold Rush has come to the city with a resolution to use the right of ways, identified the streets in downtown. So I would hope they could still proceed with that, or the Gold Rush board could proceed with asking for the right of way. And also they would have to come with a hold harmless agreement, which those are the 2 things we've always done in the past, so.
Oh, great. Then what provisions have you made in your changes to be sure that Gold Rush does not be pulled out of the city? Like the Gold Rush that is in Rochester. Because that's what happened to them.
Good question. I mentioned our bylaws may state something to that effect, but that's something we can look at in our new bylaws.
So that's just some of my questions. You don't have to answer them tonight. I just would hope that you would think of those things. And then again, if it's a nonprofit separate from the city, how do you, I'm sure it's probably in your bylaws that you're changing. How do you state that a certain percentage has to come back to the city or to local organizations?
I guess our bylaws right now, we do our donation list. And there's no percentages coming back to the city now.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Everything-
Those were just questions because I believe in 1987 or 88, when it was changed, those were the problems, and that's why Downtown Orinoco Gold Rush Days, Inc. was incorporated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the background.
Thanks, Joy.
Anybody else like to speak? Public forum. All right, oh, okay.
Hi, I'm Annie Johnson, 475 River Park Road, Southeast Orinoco. Before I start, I do want to extend my gratitude to Mayor Eichhorst for your genuine service to our community. It's very appreciated, your presence and everything that you do for the community. It's been almost exactly a year since I have come in person to a city council meeting. The last time I did, during the public comments forum, I was escorted out of the building by the police officer after stating my observation that it appeared to me that one criteria to be on council and to be chosen for committee positions was that you had to be an older retired white man. Although not surprised, I am deeply disturbed by the ongoing disregard for this community that has been shown by this council in the months following. The incredibly foolish firing of our first city administrator in the middle of a historic wastewater project is just one egregious example of how you as a council are putting your agenda ahead of the best interests of the community. Firing Sunny without due cause, other than a completely made up performance review, and then passing over a very well qualified candidate who, by the way, was selected as the #1 candidate by the city staff. She was passed over for a man with no city administration experience. A man who, as a campus police officer, had excessive force allegations brought against him for throwing 2 young women to the ground. If interested, the video is publicly available and I'll be very happy to forward you the link. And this is supposed to send us the message that you care about this community. All this shows us is how unserious this council is. Another example of frankly disqualifying actions by this council in the months since my ejection includes saying the quiet part out loud, as one council member did when he said, quote, "I just want to maintain that we get the right type of families," unquote, when referring to the potential development of an apartment complex, a comment that to this day has not been addressed by this council, nor by the councilman who said it. Decisions that greatly impact personal lives and the well-being of our community are being made by councilmen that are entirely out of their league. And to that point, I want to take my last minute to remind the councilmen here that 3 out of the 4 of you are either currently in or you came to your seat as appointed members, not as duly elected officials by this community. Our community deserves better.
Third and final call for public forum. Close public forum at 6:50. Our first petition is a presentation from Joy and Rosemary regarding our age-friendly action plan, Orinoco action plan, which is in your packet. Hope you've had a chance to look at it. And
Hi, we are here tonight to discuss the age-friendly Orinoco Area Action Plan presented to you in your council packets. Rosemary Van Houten and myself, Joy Bertsinger, are here to represent the age-friendly Orinoco Committee, sponsored in part by the AARP. Committee members include Kevin McDermott, Mayor Ryland Ikorst, Katie Dudley, Kay Lovett, Dana Bergner, and Holly Brown. We've met monthly since the beginning of January of 2022, guided by Dan Conway from the Southeast Minnesota Area Agency on Aging. We've designated our service area to include residents in the 55960 zip code area. This includes the city of Orinoco, areas of Orinoco and New Haven townships. Our committee members bring experience in understanding the needs of our residents. Elected officials, past and present, committee members, and residents, as well as representatives from elder care agencies, are all familiar with the needs of the elderly. Throughout our discussions, members have brought new insight and visions of what an age-friendly community could be for our residents. Members use their expertise and experience to begin our assessment of what area residents' needs are and what positives make our community a great place to live. Next, we heard from residents through our survey and sought information from area agencies on what services they could provide for area residents. We find it valuable to hold more listening sessions and a resource fair to gain more insight into needs and services that are available. After reviewing the results of the resident survey and the agency's surveys, the committee proceeded to complete the 25-page action plan for years 24 through 26. That again was in your packet. Sorry, it's so long. But so we reviewed the 8 domains of livability provided by the World Health Organization and the AARP. Of those, the committee selected 5 domains: community and health services, communication and information, housing, which includes adaptive solutions for existing homes, outdoor spaces and buildings, and finally, social participation. Our action plan identifies goals and specific activities along with potential partners, outcomes, and completion dates. The goals and activities are outlined in the action plan. At the end of there, you'll see that per year. Having the action plan provides opportunity for the community to apply for and potentially receive grants provided through AARP and other organizations. 2 of our goals we're happy to announce will be met in April. We are having a listening session scheduled for April 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Presbyterian Church of Orinoco. Orinoco area residents are invited to attend to express their concerns and their needs. The second goal is a resource fair scheduled for April 24th from 3 to 6 at the schoolhouse events. That's the Brick Schoolhouse in Orinoco. Over 12 agencies will be in attendance, excuse me, will be in attendance to offer help and guidance to area residents. Tonight, we ask the council to review and approve the age-friendly Orinoco Area Action Plan. As I mentioned earlier, that is the first step in us applying and possibly receiving grants from AARP. Those can benefit the Orinoco area residents. Also, Our committee requests your help in advertising the April 2nd listening session and the April 24th resource fair. Please share on your city's website if possible. Share through your personal contacts and by word of mouth. Thank you, and if you have any questions, Rosemary and I can help to try to answer, and also Ryland.
I'd like to make a comment. I think that you guys have done a wonderful job on looking at it as for age friendly that goes along with it. I was very impressed on the amount of services that are available that I wasn't aware of. And I think that doing that fair that there is on the 24th, you know, is extremely important because that's the only way to get the information out there. But I was very impressed with what was there.
Yeah, thank you. We agree, Rosemary and I, along with a couple, we're in a subcommittee trying to get that set up. And Rosemary, if you want to say some of the agencies that you see as well that are coming in.
Well, we've got services like Family Service Rochester, Southeastern Minnesota Area Agency on Aging, Pine Island Area Home Services, Elder Network. We've asked some of the smaller committees or groups around Orinoco to come and display and spread the word about what they do also, like the Lions Club and the first responders. Two Rivers
Catholic-
Community Action.
Yeah, Catholic Charities, Lutheran Social Services, pretty much all of the organizations you saw in the action plan are committed to coming.
I think that's excellent. So very good job.
There's a lot of services out there.
Yeah.
I think people just don't know about them and, you know.
Right, that's kind of what we've all brought personal experience saying we didn't know that was available. And that's our goal, is to let people know. So that's why we're asking if you could approve it, or if you have further questions, you can ask us, or Ryland is very involved with it as well.
I'd like to just mention that Rosemary used to be the executive director for the Pine Island Home Services. So she's brought a wealth of experience and information to the group too. So thank you, Rosemary.
And with the listening sessions too, we want you to promote that because we want people to come in and let us know what they are looking for. What do they want to see in this community to help them, and what are their needs?
So what are the dates again?
April 2nd is the listening session.
From 3 to 6.
From 4 to 6, is that what? Oh, and then,
Yes, 4 to
The
6.
yep.
And then the 24th is the resource fair.
We put posters up. We're trying to put it on our own Facebook pages by just taking a picture of the poster. And what we're.
And we thought by having it at the schoolhouse events building that, out of curiosity, maybe that would help draw some more people into.
And maybe some cookies too. I don't know.
Yeah. Refreshments always help.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I was gonna ask approximately how many people does this involve?
You mean people?
We're talking
like
about senior citizens or?
The resident, I didn't hear you. Or
The number of seniors in the community?
Yes.
We sent out over, gosh, I forget how many actual surveys, but we got back close to 200. And probably 60% of those that responded were elderly in need of care.
Right.
So that is that kind of answer. I can't give you specific
Wow.
actual numbers, but
Right.
probably 60% of the response that we received were elder. And we're talking elder care, 55, 60 years old
Right.
and older. That's us now.
Yeah, I seen the 17%.
Yeah, that was over 55 is what it says in here, that were there. But no, I mean, it said 181 responded out of 1,500 surveys, but you got some good information that there was from that.
And this is for the whole township. We sent it
Yeah.
to 55960 zip code,
Mhm.
so. Brought a lot of,
Oftentimes those out in the outskirts get lost in the too, so. We want to include those.
Yeah, so we initially thought maybe just Orinoco, but we really felt the area,
Right.
the whole area, the 55960.
Very good. I think I said, good job. Very good. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion we need to do on
Yeah,
that one,
please.
Ryan? Okay, I make a motion that we support, I don't know anything other than that word, that there would be the age-friendly community.
second,
What is supporting it
any
mean?
other comments?
Sponsoring a couple of dates, I guess
I'm sorry,
what does sponsoring or what does supporting it mean other than helping promote a couple of dates?
As far as financial support, the listening session is just at the church, Presbyterian Church. The schoolhouse events, the city, in kind sent a $250 check last year to hold it. And then we're also asking, I think it's $10 from each vendor at the resource fair.
Great.
Right,
With
those
Just to
outside.
bring in some income, so. We are looking at nonprofit, of course, and, I'm in the process of looking for pro bono attorneys. And I have, several that I've contacted. One doesn't do that, the other one voice message, so we're still working on a pro bono attorney to help us out, so. All right. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Oh, same sign. Approved, great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, going to water and sewer, Bill.
First item is wastewater treatment plant, contract one project construction update. I guess first off, in the packet, there was a wastewater startup system, schedule notification letter, is in the packet and went out to, residents by email, went out to all of the developer stakeholders and, agency stakeholders last week. And that kind of has a schedule of the startup, but big picture, treatment facility is scheduled to start up next Wednesday, the 27th of March. Kind of looking ahead, we've got some potential bad weather early next week. We'll see what happens there, if that impacts us or not. That is the target date, and so contractor has mobilized back to the site. Staub is on site. Xylem, the SBR supplier, is mobilizing to the site and will be there tomorrow. Electrician's already there, working on miscellaneous things. So a fair amount of activity out there with startups and getting ready to initiate operations. And then they're also doing punch list work. But making progress. They've got a little ways to go yet, but it looks like we'll get there. So
So it's supposed to start the 27th?
yes. And so that's our startup date. A lot of information in the packet on that. I don't know if you want to necessarily get into those types of details. We did have a construction coordination meeting here at City Hall. A couple of you were able to attend with Staub. Short meeting, just basically talking about the startup and status of various construction items and funds. So things kind of continue to progress there. Any questions on the treatment facility? No, we have.
Are we gonna first pull from Orinoco Estates? Is that number one that we get started with then, or?
Yeah, so there's, within this letter, there's kind of a priority list or a schedule. And so the first diversion of flow will be Orinoco Estates, and then simultaneously, we would start to divert Riverwood Hills with the goal of having all of Riverwood Hills diverted by the end of the month. And then the contractor at Orinoco Estates would come to River Park and start to divert flow there. And then kind of sequentially moving through, there's a Timberline lift station, then Cedar Woodlands 1 and 2, and then there's of course Orinoco Crossings. All of those spots, there are some excavations. I think there's about a dozen excavations in all, where we have to dig down, connect to the existing pipe that flows to the community waste treatment system, and lay a segment of pipe so that it flows to the new system. And then it goes to the lift stations, as you guys all know. So right now, as we kind of jump to the collection system update, we are starting up lift stations. So lift station startup happened or is happening Monday, Tuesday, and tomorrow. So they started up lift station 1 on Monday, and 2 and 3 today, and 4 will be tomorrow. There's an issue with a VFD electrical component in lift station 1A that we're kind of sorting through. I think we found the components and they're hopefully going to be delivered tomorrow. So we'll see when that one fits into the schedule, but things are moving forward. There's always some hiccups, but lots going on. You can also see within the collection system, that's Fitzgerald's contract. They've adjusted manholes to grade so that they can access those manholes, finish the work inside the manholes, the grouting work inside the manholes, and then also do the air testing, the mandrel testing, and we run a camera through them. So those things can happen here over the next couple months, and then they'll be patched back, and then the wear course will probably go on in May or June, along with the final restoration of the term through the project. So there is kind of a nice little summary here. I should also mention the grinder stations. So the grinder station contractor Ellingson is coming back. They will be back the week of the 27th to probably the 26th. And they will start to connect the grinder stations to the homes, power them up, and then start discharging to the force main system. So they will be here that week, and they'll continuously be here, of course, unless the weather's terrible. But so that's happening too. And then just from the big picture standpoint, after Fitzgerald finishes the tie-ins, those dozen excavations to divert the flow to the wastewater system, then they'll start the decommissioning of the community waste treatment systems in River Park, Riverwood Hills, and Cedar Woodlands. So that'll work. Will take probably a month and a half to get done. So all of that work is kind of sequentially planned, and I tried to lay it out in the one-page letter. We also did send out a construction update, I think number 35. 35?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've read it.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, 35, you're right. We sent that out on Friday. And that has an update. It includes kind of a discussion of what the contractor did over the winter, what they have left to do, and when they're gonna do it. The other important thing to kind of note is I did update the gravity sewer, the pressure sewer, and the water service connection documents. They were originally prepared last April. And some of the information was a little outdated. For example, it talked about the startup of the wastewater treatment plant. So, I did update that. We've had a few changes in contacts. Those types of things I did update within the guidance document. And the other important thing that we updated was the funding piece. It's a little later down on the agenda, but the SWCD has secured some additional grant funding, a little bit better program than we had thought we were gonna get. And so Caitlin at SWCD provided me some information, so I incorporated it into that water service connection document. It's also in your packet, but we wanted to get it out. And so all this information was disseminated to the 380 emails that I've got accounts for, and that's also on the city's website and Facebook page. So hopefully we're doing a pretty good job of getting that information out there so people know what's going on. I have gotten quite a few calls, people just asking for clarifications, calls and emails, which is good. So I think that vehicle is fairly successfully reaching people.
So when is it gonna be available to individual residents?
So within this,
Gravity sewers.
it depends on the area of town. And so within this, there's items A, B, C through
Gotcha, okay.
H, and it talks about each one of those areas, so. Gives a schedule as to when connection would be expected and what the contractor is doing in those areas.
So the, I don't have the letter here in front of me, but all, it's my understanding, I think, that all the subdivisions will be hooked up by April 12th or 18th. Mid-April, I believe, but
Well, let's see, the first one is Orinoco Estates, that would start on March 27th. Item B is Riverwood Hills, that connection schedule is from March 27th, March 30th. Item C is River Park. There's a number of things to do within River Park, but the central tie over would be from March 28th to April 5th. The River Park lift station on Timberline Drive would be tied over from April 5th to April 12th. Orinoco Crossing subdivision, that would be tied over between April 5th and April 12th. The Cedar Woodland subdivisions 1 and 2. That flow diversion is tentatively scheduled between April 5th and April 17th. And then we give some updates about when residents could expect billing, obviously a month later, so they get tied in April, they'll see a bill in early May. And then we talk about the decommissioning of the subsurface treatment systems, the low pressure sanitary sewer. Within the various areas of the community, getting grinder stations, they're supposed to be, the contractor Ellingson's gonna be on site, that week of, March 27th. And they'll begin tying those over. That's gonna take probably a couple months to get through all those, so I would tentatively estimate that sometime around June 1st, they'll have all of those tied over. The gravity sewer connections in downtown, we're estimating that people begin to connect with the gravity sewer down here around April 15th. And then, of course, all of the water system is available and has been available, so people can connect. And that deadline for some folks of the end of May is coming up soon. And so all of that information is summarized within the letter that I'd sent out on Wednesday, March 13th. And I think is in the packet. And is also included in the construction update number 35.
and we'll get updates. Copied here on the table too for people coming in, so.
Yes, they're posted outside too, in different spots, so.
The mailbox is kind of, the mailbox down by the post office is kind of taking a hit,
Pretty windy today.
pretty much.
Has there ever been any in it?
It has been, it's just, it keeps tipping over, so I haven't put anything in it lately, so.
Get the
Box
updates.
is shot now.
Yes.
All right. Okay, next item, any other question about our second water meter? We recognize that the irrigation is, because right now the water rate determines your sewer rate. And for those users that use water for irrigation, the city is going to offer a second water meter, just like the main water meter. At city cost for, there'll be a permit for that. And then, of course, there's an inspection with CMS to have it installed, so. The higher water users, Kane did some spreadsheet work and the higher water users will, the payback could be in 2 to 3 years or sooner. So it's really gonna help identify your sewer rate for the water you're using in the house. So that's the main purpose for doing that, so.
What are we looking at for cost on one of those?
We're advertising the city cost because it could change, and right now it's $337.
For a second meter?
The second meter, right?
That's the cost, yeah.
That could change over the years, so we didn't want to fix it, but we're just offering it at a city cost, so. And I believe the inspection is $62.50,
Yeah, he said that was fine.
$62.50 versus. So, and we did order an extra 100 meters, I think. We're anticipating between 70 and 120 what we call high users of water, so we ordered 100 water meters. All of them will have the new cell reception or cell transformer on the Verizon system too, which that's kind of a late breaking news. We got it switched from AT&T to Verizon now, so that's good too. So with that, I make a motion. We offer a second water meter for irrigation at city cost. Second. Any other comments? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is this something we need to do? Can't the city just do that? Is it something we have to approve?
I think we need to
Well,
approve the
it's-
cost.
Trying to cover the cost of the meter and. Joe mentioned the next item about the well seeding program from Olmsted Soil and Water Conservation District. So you can read through that. I think there's, when I talked to Skip, depending on the interest, they have gotten some calls, but they may be coming out to Orinoco sometime if there's a need to have a face-to-face for people to answer questions as well. There's no date set for any of that, but that is a possibility they were suggesting.
How many wells are gonna be sealed or gonna be
There's 80.
basically?
That's what I have on the top of my head, somewhere around there,
Most of them are on the west side of the highway,
most of them, not all.
not at all, yeah.
Just an update on our water hookups. Joe mentioned it's been a year, it's May 3rd or May 2nd of last year. So with those water hookups, for the water that's available with the curb stops in front of their house. With the July 2024 water bills, there will be a $75 monthly payment, additional payment on that late fee on the July 2024 water bill, so. We are starting to get more water meters sent out, but it's still rather slow compared to what it should be, but now with the spring, that'll start picking up, so.
So it's a $75 late fee?
Right, it's the same fee we have on our water, and we thought we'd just apply that to the meter as well, or sewer. And that's already the ordinance too, so.
That doesn't apply for, hooking up to a bare lot, does it?
It does not.
Okay.
Okay, next item is just an update is starting April 1st with the startup of the plant. We'll start paying the utility bills for electric, gas, communications, and at the lift stations as well. The last item is make a motion, we approve John Stope as a new water and sewer committee member.
I'll second that.
John was at our EDA community engagement and he went to a couple of us and said that he was interested, and he came in the next day, so we just turned in a survey and request to be on that water and sewer, so we took care of that. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Planning and zoning. Just the one item. John?
Yeah, John Evans. To be added to the committee, we were a short one, so that brings us back to 7. With Paul, is no longer on there.
Did you make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve John Evans for the P and Z committee.
I'll second.
Comments? Figure back to 7, is that right?
Mhm.
And the water committee's at 7 too now, so. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
7 people?
Aye.
Aye.
7 people on the committee is what you're saying?
Yes, yeah.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Fire department. So, action items. 2 sets of turnout gear. Buying the 2 sets of turnout gear and 10th generation iPad. All that information was in your packet. I'll make a motion, we approve the 2 sets of turnout gear and the 10th generation iPad for engine 2.
Second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? That's approved. We have a motion for a new firefighter, Matt Arnold.
I'll make a motion to approve Matt Arnold as a new firefighter.
I'll second that.
Where's he live at? Does he live here in town?
Oh,
Township, you said?
I believe it's in the township. I was at the fire meeting and I think he's,
Rochester,
I just see there's some something leading here, but it's this Rochester. And 55901, that's northwest, but just curious. It was,
he was a friend of the firefighter that was killed up in the city, so.
Yeah, and you went in there, and then,
So I just have one general question about. So Johan or Dan, you want to come to the podium? I got a couple of questions. So as we go through the year and you bring more firefighters on, and I don't know if you have a cap that you're looking for. Right now, you're at,
The city code actually
24
states that our
fire-
cap is 30.
what's that?
The city code states that our minimum is 12 and our cap is 30.
Okay, I've never heard those figures. That's why I was asking.
I looked it up.
I started getting a little cocky when we started getting low 20s, and then I have somebody move out of town, and then I struggle. You know, we're at that upper, that low 20s right now, so I'm comfortable. But yeah, we've never been over 24 from a fire standpoint in the 17 years I've been.
So from a budget standpoint, how do you manage budget with going more than, say, what you budgeted for?
I mean, it's.
Training and, I mean, you're going to continue to work towards 30 this year? And if you do that, how do you support that from your budget?
I mean,
standpoint?
I would love to have the problem where I have so many firefighters that I actually
Great
have to have
job.
a waiting list like other departments. But I don't have a budget problem because training is paid by the state.
Mhm.
You know, we get money every year, so a couple grand that it costs to train them is nothing. We don't give them new gear until they finish their training. So like the 2 that you just approved were for people that, came on, finished their training, and now they're getting new gear.
Yeah.
So we don't have an expense there. If they show up for calls, yes, we'll have a little more expense, but, we had lifted up, with our increased pay this year, I lifted the amount, so I feel comfortable that I can bring more people on. If I had a good problem that I had 5 people on, I might get, start getting concerned, but, I have 20-some people. And if you look at my calls, I have, 4 to 6 consistently, meetings, I have 10 to 12 consistently. So I'm not concerned that bringing on 1, 2, 3 more people is gonna do anything to my budget.
Okay,
I'd rather have more people so that the few that do come up, I have a better, turnout for calls and meetings.
So 4 to 6 is your average that show up per call? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on,
Kind of depends what it is.
yeah, we had a call in the middle of dark 30 and I think I had 4. How many did you have at Watson's? 5,
had-
6?
We had 10.
Really? You had that many?
Yep, yeah, we
Okay.
did. Pine Island called for water, but when we got there, it definitely looked like they needed manpower, so we brought others.
I mean, so it really depends on on the daytime, nighttime.
Right.
So I don't think we're gonna have a budget problem if I had a whole bunch of hiring, but I got people that, I mean, to be honest, anytime you have a committee of people, some people show up a lot and some people don't. And
Oh, yeah,
those people that don't
there's-
eventually are gonna move away, so I get somebody excited to come on, so then they're gonna take their place kinda.
Okay.
So yeah, we're excited.
So my last question is just, and we've talked about this before too somewhat, but just with, it seems like we're seeing more firefighters and first responders coming from Rochester. I'm sure 10 to 15 miles away. So how do
Yeah,
we?
What we have in Rochester right now is we have a guy on the north side of town that was a Mazeppa firefighter. And so he moved to Rochester, but he wanted to still serve, and so, him hopping on the highway and getting to us is not a big deal. This new guy that we brought on, he lives by Menards North. So same thing, he's not in our service area, but he's gonna hit the highway and he'll, on a fire call, he won't be the first truck, but he'll be in a support truck. So I'm not concerned. The people that I have a little far south, they actually were on our department and then they also, they worked in Orinoco at the lumberyard and then he quit. But we kept him on because again, he can still show up at night. So we have turned away many people who just, hey, I live in Rochester, I'd like to be a firefighter, and majority, we say no. So we turn away people.
I appreciate that because I think that's
Yeah,
important. I didn't know if we had a requirement within X miles of.
and we started at one time about miles, either you had to live in or work in the city. And, we don't cover the township from the fire, but we do from the first responders, so we say, 10 minutes. But again, these people that live on the north side of Rochester, they're gonna be timely from a fire. So like if Matt was just first responder, I probably would have brought him on, but fire, he'll be able to show up.
Cause some of those could get here quicker than maybe someone in the township.
Yeah, and like I said, if we have, this person, he has his own business, he has flexible hours. So I have people at Mayo and I work at IBM, and if I can't get out, I know I have another firefighter coming, so I think it's a good problem. But yeah, so we do not advertise, hey, Rochester people come work for the department. We try to be selective.
Last month, we had 3 applicants from inside of Rochester and we declined.
Okay,
So,
that's
yeah.
good.
We don't tell you the ones that we don't do,
No.
but we are
No.
selective on who we think and
I think Matt had a good reason why he wanted to get involved
He
too.
did.
Yeah, that was definitely a personal
yeah,
situation.
he grew up with that Matt Finseth, who was one of the Burnsville firefighters that got shot and killed. So I mean, that was kind of motivated him to help. And so he's got a good heart. He's got a good location, young family, wants to join. His wife works at Mayo. I mean, so it's kind of I think it's gonna be a good fit for the department. So we try to be smart with our, recommendations to the city.
I only take 5 minutes to get here.
Yeah.
Right, all in favor of Matt, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. First responders. There was a approving pay for Danny White. Vaccinations.
Yeah, so she's a firefighter, first responder, or EMT now. She finished her schooling and, there's a bunch of shots that you should have, like COVID. If you look at the bill, the COVID vaccine. And she's a waitress. I mean, so she doesn't have health insurance and she's going to get married and eventually she'll have health insurance. And so, we want our people going on medical calls to have immunizations. And you can see it's a pretty good, it's not a lot of money, but for somebody who's, doesn't have health insurance. And so we want our people to be protected and protect our citizens. So it made sense. So Renee just wanted to bring it up to you. I've never had somebody, because most people have insurance and with the copay, they probably just paid the copay. So I've never had anybody say, hey, reimburse me. This one makes sense because, again, she doesn't, it's all out of her pocket. And so why should she have to pay for these immunizations because she's the first responder?
Is this her current address?
Yes.
That's way out in the hill, out in the west side of Rochester, on Country
Yeah.
Club Manor.
Like
That's
Southwest.
20 minutes. That's it's be south of Costco, across 14 up in the hill up there, across that school back in there.
So what was the
So with Danny,
background there?
so Danny lives right next to Leif, who's the firefighter that I said that worked in Orinoco and now lives in Rochester. So she lives right next to him and she's, she's applied to be the Rochester firefighter. She's gonna get married. She's not moving anywhere. And so that was another one of those exceptions. You're right. She's a little farther than the ones on the north side of town. But she's been at training, she's been at her calls. So far, she's been, a good decision. So again, we try to be smart on why we bring, people on.
So are you concerned about the precedent it's setting?
I'm not concerned. Renee was the one that brought it up to city council,
concerned.
just making sure that you guys are comfortable that, we don't really offer, hey, everybody will pay all your immunizations. But in this case, for somebody who doesn't have insurance and is getting shots because of the position we're asking her to do, we thought $300-400 made sense. So I think she wanted to have the city council have the decision on that, even because we don't really say, we were gonna pay it, or we don't say we don't pay it. It's kind of in that gray area, but to me, medical services to be protected while serving the community makes sense to me.
Prior to being here and on first responders and fire here, I was in Hayfield. And there was a list of vaccines that you needed to have before you could even be on scene. So Hep B, I mean, you name it, right? It was prior to COVID, but you know, there's a laundry list of things that you need to have taken care of. It protects you, it protects your patients, it protects your crew, and it protects the city.
Yeah, so I don't think it sets a
So it's-
precedence. I mean, it's,
It makes
again,
sense to do it.
I think so, but that's why we're here. I mean, we just wanted to make sure we're not trying to hide anything, and Renee thought it was worth talking about.
I appreciate it. So is there anything, now the one bill, the 41, it says it was paid. Pre-patient payments in October, prepayment $41.
What?
They're at the
For
very
the back,
bottom.
whatever I mean, I saw the bill, it was a couple
Oh,
line items.
She's paid it by, she has paid it on her credit card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have not reimbursed her.
She paid it.
Yeah, she paid it. We have not reimbursed her.
Well, you're right, I saw a couple
Oh,
different
like
line items. Yeah, this is the reimbursement to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she doesn't have insurance.
Good.
But I think it was just more of the discussion.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the reimbursement for the vaccinations of $434.
I second that.
Any other discussion? I appreciate the background. I just,
Thanks for transparency.
it's,
Brian?
Kudos to Renee to help us
Yeah.
bring it up too.
Thanks, Renee.
all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. No. Okay. Last item is, new first responder, Carter. So the form that was in here, did you mean to circle?
Yeah, so what happened, so Carter he just turned 18, he's a senior in high school, he did this program at the high school to become a firefighter.
I know, yeah.
So as soon as he turned 18, we joined him on the fire department. He did not circle the first responders. In the month that he's been on, we've been twisting his arm. His brother Austin joined last year and did fire and first response. And so he's like, okay, I'll do a first response. And so we voted him on at the meeting this month for the first response, and we're just using the same application. So
Okay, that's
that's
right.
why it's just it's penciled in separately because it's exact same app.
Yeah, there's a red line under first responders. I didn't know if that was.
No, it's supposed to be, I think, a circle.
It should be a circle.
All right.
It was underlined.
Yeah, so.
Thank
So
you.
same application, just. And again, just in case you recognize the name, so Austin was brought on, last year. And Carter was his brother, and then his dad and his mom were both. Bubba was on the fire department and his wife Michelle was on the first responders for a while. So kind of in the family. Austin thinks he wants to do it as a career, so he's gonna apply. He's finished his schooling. He's gonna try and get on Rochester. Carter, don't know, but Carter's excited to, put his skills to use, so. Right now, the two guys live in the same home with their parents and responded to calls. So we're excited to have Carter on both fire and first response.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So similar question with the fire department, the number where you're at. Whatever it is, 24, 25, something like that. So your training budget is 75% spent already for the year
For.
for training for first responders. For their budget here.
Yep.
So
Yep.
is that gonna be a problem with training and saving the budget?
No, and we have Seams, Southeast CMS, there's a reimbursement that we can apply for as well. So the reason that we're at that 75% is because things didn't come in. We had people in class last year. Things didn't come in until this year. The invoices didn't come in, so that's why.
So we're at a healthy, with knock on wood, healthy number for the first responders. So we again are gonna be a little selective on, because you can only have so many people on a medical call. Fire, it's like, I'd rather have 25 people because I'll know I get like 12. Whereas medical, after you get 3 or 4 people, you have too many on a call. So I think we're good.
Well, you get your new vehicle.
Yeah.
You get 5 in
We'll
there.
have 5 in the new
Oh,
vehicle.
5 and, okay.
Yeah, then
One on the bumper.
Is that in service now?
No, it's not gonna be till. the
That's
end.
probably gonna be mid, late next month.
Yep.
We're waiting for that little topper that fits in the back.
For some reason, I thought it was coming.
It was supposed to.
It was supposed to, you're right.
So it's coming quicker.
Yeah. Yeah,
Make a
we're
motion to
eagerly
approve.
waiting.
Carter,
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
any comments?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor,
Thanks, guys.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Well, the EDA, just in your packet is our February meeting notes, for your awareness. And, Rebecca's putting together our results from our engagement last month, so that'll be coming. Porta potties, we have a quote from Onsite and Affordable. Annie in his memo is recommending, Onsite. Hey, I was looking at the budget, I didn't see a line item for porta potties, what does that come out of?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Answer is.
A little more information here.
So years past, it's just. There is a line item for water, garbage, sewer. But there's also a line item for subcontracted services, so
I'd have to look it up. I don't know.
Renee and I can look into, I think it's been pulled out of several different budgets throughout the
Okay.
years.
And then from a date line from May sixth to October 21st, is that pretty much our Friday before Labor Day or?
They do 28-day billing cycles, so however you want to get 28 days, you guys say when, I'll get them here.
Another question. The canoe landing, isn't that a DNR sponsored?
It's a partnership with the city of Orinoco as well.
In DNR,
Correct. Yep,
do they share in the cost of that?
they do not. These will be completely funded from the Parks and Recreation Fund.
Now, did we get an actual bid from Affordable?
Affordables did not get me a bid for 2024. I reached out and they did not get back to me. One thing I do say in there is that the 2024 rates for on-site are cheaper than the affordable portables from 2023. So I'm assuming that on-site is the cheaper option. We have worked with them in the past. There is a relationship there. I would just assume to move forward with on-site.
Do they generally charge the same for cleaning and servicing of them?
On-site?
I mean, between the two of them, is one of them cheaper for servicing than the other, or?
They're completely different. It's like, different cities, how they charge for water and sewer, you know, it's just a completely different rate structure. And to get apples to apples, I kind of made a spreadsheet there to kind of break it down into a weekly cost or to a monthly cost and on-site went up $1 on their actual handicap and regular restrooms, so small increase for the 2024 seasons.
Yeah, and they were over $8,000 last year.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we approve using on-site companies for option one from May 6th, 2024 to October 21st,
And second.
2024 for $5,004. Second. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Oppose? Some beautification here that the parks would like to request approval. 600 for rodeo plants for the community center. And let's do 100, let's do the two, number 2, 3, 2 and 4 together.
So is this in our budget,
Yeah, it's been in the budget for
this one?
several years now, quite a few years.
They've been working with different groups, but I think they have a little bit more
Come in and actually.
organizing it. So,
Yeah, there's one that's gonna supply some seed or something, if I recall right, or
Yeah, there's something, yeah, the wild ones.
the wild ones, it's native plants that you're gonna be supplying.
It's all second.
Is that a motion, Paul?
I'll make a motion.
Did I make it?
You made the motion, I'll
No,
second.
no.
Yes, I combined them, that's right, thank you.
Sorry.
When we set up our agenda, I forgot to mention that, I'd like to add under, if it can still be done, number 5 on Parks and Trails. One of the things that Parks and Trails Committee is concerned about is the security over at the park. The main park over here. I don't know if there's anything we can do
Katie
about it.
requested that. I told her we needed to look into it more, so we would add it at a later date.
Just so it was addressed for her, so she knows that we brought it up. That she knows about the later date.
Yeah, we talked.
Okay.
You know.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. Opposed. Last item there is a resolution. We're accepting a donation from the Wild Ones Native Plants.
So I make a motion to accept the resolution 2024-07.
I'll second that.
A nice donation. I don't know exactly how much it is. It's probably,
Do we know what parks or is it, we can just put it?
I think it's a
Anyway.
donation of plants and stuff.
donation of plants and money. We didn't say how much.
Okay.
They plant 2 native plant beds. It must be by the signs, I'm guessing.
The sign, I think you're talking about the one outside the office up here, or.
Right. Oh, along the west side. Comments or just finish parts and TOs?
You're talking to me, right? It doesn't work with the video. They're giving us, Wild Ones is giving us $500.
Okay. the
Paul,
wild-
can you repeat? Yeah, can you repeat that, Paul? So I know you guys heard me.
Yeah, you said Wild Ones is giving us $500.
Yes, to put towards plants. And it's mostly going to be by the community center. And then I would like to talk with Kane later about the areas by the signs. So I'll email him so he can give me guidance on those.
Okay, you can touch base with Kane then. All right. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, thank you.
This is a resolution by voice vote.
You want to make a motion first to
think-
change?
Jim
instead
Richards
of
and Jim
The
Bill.
plants.
Or no,
And money.
Paul and Jim Richards, those
Oh,
two.
sure.
Mhm.
Mayor Ikorst,
Aye.
Counselor Phillips,
Aye.
Counselor Richards,
Aye.
Counselor Pendergrass,
I,
Counselor Earl.
Aye.
Okay, that's, Gold Rush, we're on the table. We had discussion number 2.
Yeah, I know I'm going through and that there was, about $4,000 that there was for redoing the bylaws that there were for Gold Rush and, you know, I think that it's part of city that at least I want the community to know that we're on board with Gold Rush and the costs that are sometimes associated with that. So it's on the transparency that we are as a city council paying those $4,000 for legal fees that there are for the bylaws. So I just wanted that to go on record.
Okay. All right, that's, we appreciate you have all the work that went into that as well. So
Absolutely. So,
Mike and his lawyers, the team. All right, thank you. Any other comments? Appreciate that.
The rest of it's been reserved for the Gold Rush meeting, correct?
Right, we'll go through the documents and
And I think this solidifies the actions that are taking place.
Mhm.
Like, this is good.
Yeah, we're behind it, so, as a council.
Public Works. Starting our planning for the seasonal employees, and Kane has a memo. And highlighted ad,
Yeah,
step to the, please.
yeah. So we just need to get a posting in the paper the next couple weeks here, advertising for seasonal help. Once we get some applicants, we'll do some interviews and ultimately, offer positions to those seasonal groundskeepers.
When would you like to have them on board? What's your goal date?
I think May sixth is the first Monday in May.
That's the cutoff for this, for the ad, right?
I would like to have staff available the first week of May.
Oh, okay, because this says deadline for applying is May sixth.
Oh, yeah,
Last year,
maybe,
Oh, this was last year.
changed to April
Okay.
30.
yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry, I
yeah.
didn't see that down below.
Oh, that's
Yes, sorry,
great,
Keith.
This is just some notes, you guys. If you have any additions or things you wanna take or leave, or you guys let me know, but I just wanna get something in the paper and publish it for the next 2 weeks and,
How many temporary do you plan on or figuring? 2, 3?
3.
A question. Is there is there such thing if you're timing them, you needed, say if you use 2 early and 1 late, so you get a longer season on a temporary help type?
So
situation?
with that, with the applicants we get, we'll find out, what kind of team we can build, right? It's all about the team. If we've got 3 high school students, they're gonna be limited. They can only work the summer, But if we have 3 great retired candidates, then we could maybe space them out and, there is one caveat there. They can only work, well,
100.
they can only work whatever we budgeted. We budgeted less than we get into the state, like the state statutes. So,
You mentioned high school. Nobody under 18 can operate a mower, can they? Supposedly?
well, maybe that'd be something
Well, they can't run a baler in the back of the grocery store.
okay.
That's why I'm asking.
In years past, it's kind of whatever the leadership here at City Hall thinks it's. Absolutely, a 15-year-old can do it, and then years past, someone would probably say, hey, you gotta be 18 to be insured and whatnot, so. I think it just kind of depends where the leadership is here at City Hall, and,
Well,
They need a
I kind
driver's
of-
license, then, they need a driver's license, then, to operate that machinery, then they would need a driver's license.
correct, yep.
So you can at least do that.
Yep.
For sure.
And so like I said, this is kind of what we had posted last year. I really don't wanna put specific hours and specific salaries in there. I just kind of like to leave that open. If
Commensurate with experience?
yeah, yep, let's pay off of experience and see what kind of team we can build. We got 2 high school students and 1 kind of older gentleman who can lead or, I just want to have a little flexibility with the applicants.
Yeah, or if you have someone that's a repeat from last year, you might wanna.
Yeah, and that's a possibility too.
Yeah.
That was one thing, we don't hold positions.
No.
So if there's past employees, they will have to apply,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, we would get this posted within the next couple weeks and we'd probably have something for the April council meeting for approval. That would be my goal is to come to the April council meeting with, my recommendation to the council, and then we would, offer employment at that council meeting, unless you guys see a different option, a different path, A to B. How do we get these people here that first week of May?
And I think it's important that we get them on board sooner than later, because last year we were behind the 8 ball. because of getting it posted and whatnot.
Yeah, that's why I come to you here in March and, you know,
Yeah.
the goal is a month from now, so.
Right.
May to July is the strongest part of the growing season. Rest of it kind of goes dormant.
Yeah, well,
You
I
guys
think this is.
spending time at the sewer plant,
Yeah.
So the public works assistant that you hire will be also at the April meeting then? Or that we want to hire, I should say.
I would imagine we'll have a candidate for the public works, full-time as public works assistant. We'll have a candidate at the April council meeting.
We've had more stuff that have come in, Ryland. We had another 3 that came in just over the weekend or end of last week. So we've been going through those, you know, as soon as they came in and whenever we have an opportunity to interview them, we've been interviewing. So we've got a few potential, we've had a lot of applications, a lot. You know, but I think that we've kind of narrowed it down substantially to what's going on and interviewed, what, 6 people? No, 5? 4.
I can make a motion, we approve the seasonal employment hiring.
I'll second it.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
And
Next item is, I'd like to request for the 4.
Yeah, 4 laptop computers, where, our staff will be at 4 full-time positions. Staff use these computers every day, email, locates, we use them for, water reporting, water testing. They're a tool in the toolbox, so,
Do they currently have laptops?
they do, a couple of them, you kind of gotta, you know, open nicely and they're very slow. They're very old and they're not, they don't have a current,
Rating system?
operating system. That's a good term to use.
Do they just need to be updated and brought into each, you know?
I think they're too old for that.
They're too old for that.
I think Windows 10 is about at the end of its life expectancy, so the older computers, they won't kick up to Windows 11.
Is that what they're running?
Is that the floppy disk?
No, no.
Okay.
Close, it's the 3.5.
Okay. Well, regardless, I think now is the time to replace. I think, we've had a hodgepodge of computers. I think we've tried this in the past where we'll purchase something from Amazon or, from a big box store. We get it and it needs some more work. So then we send it to onsite, our computer, our, IT staff, and then they have to put additional work into it. And so going this route with onsite, you know, they are our support. If there are issues, if we have questions, they are the go-to for us. So I'd rather just go through them initially instead of trying to build something out of the Amazon store.
And I see too where the funding on that one is split between water and sewer utilities and operating supplies. So with that, I make a motion that we.
I got a question. These aren't extras, so they'll carry these with them in the trucks out to the plant.
Yes,
Right.
the idea is that that each employee will have this when it is their week at the treatment facility.
Okay.
To meet the MPCA requirements, you know, so, staff will use these. It's like I said, it's a tool. They'll use them every day and.
One other question. I see that there's $480 for setup. Do they tell you what's in setup? Cause usually, once things are installed, you're good to go.
Renee, do you have any comment on their setup? I know Renee's worked with
Yeah.
onsite and.
Not exactly. I'm guessing it's getting Microsoft set up on there, getting their email set up on there, get them set up if they're connected and all that sort of stuff. So,
But you guys use Office 365, correct? You're in the call, your email.
most of them are, yes. I think we have a couple that aren't on there.
A couple are not, a couple are, web-based.
But that,
That's
so that,
Cloud, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, that's cloud.
Yep.
So that's just a matter of giving an address. I do question the $480 setup. Cause normally you get it and it's good to go. If it's,
If you look too, on the labor part of it, that's down a little bit further, they said for 4 of them, the labor is $120.
Yeah, we showed 480, so he's, what Jim was talking about, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I'm just saying quantity for labor, 480, okay.
It's 1 hour labor,
That's it, it's pretty
pretty typical.
123.
Yeah.
I've taken my personal computer over there and it's about $115, $120 an hour, so.
that's the question. What is it that they're doing? I mean, you're getting a new computer, it's got the OS, you're using the cloud. You know, unless they're installing special software for the city for meters and things like that,
And I guess just looking through this, Jim, and I, delivered to site and set up for each user, so I don't know if there's some additional training that comes with that, is there? I don't know that exact, Jim.
So everybody knows how to run Microsoft Office and Business,
I hope so.
cause I take it that's got Excel and Word in it.
Yep.
yeah, that's the office suite. So I guess, I mean, I have no problem with it, with you getting it, but I do question that.
Okay.
Cause I know what this stuff is about and how these things run, but, I would maybe push the envelope on that if you can save yourself almost $500. But, yeah, it sounds like you just need them, so I would make a motion that you get them,
I'll second that one.
or did you already, Jim?
Well, it was kind of in between both.
This would be kind of shared with Parks and Trails too then. 'Cause
Well,
the
it's-
mowers, and we keep track of their hours,
Absolutely,
that
it's,
so it can be a shared budget type thing.
right now I've got it budgeted through, water and sewer,
Yeah, which is,
but it could be however you guys want to
I'll take
split
water
the
and
money.
sewer.
I think our water and sewers kind of exploding before we get our first product to this treatment plant, so I'd rather keep it on water and sewer if we
Product
can.
going to the treatment plant.
Oh, what you want.
However you guys want, Renee and I to code that, we can do so.
I think it's just important that we're getting a service and we're getting good support and to pull something out of here because for whatever reason, then we're at mercy of us loading it and then charging us more to service it if it needs. So I would rather keep it a package deal.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't keep it as a package, I'm saying just question it.
Yeah, what exactly?
What does that include?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if everybody's got their own computer out going out to the treatment plant, how does the data get compiled? So they say like the state can come in and say, all of the checks were done from this week to this week to this week if they're all on different computers.
It doesn't
The
stay on.
information that
It's
there is
usually
that's
cloud.
out there. So each guy that's out there has to turn around and keep his information that there is on what he's doing for that week. For him to be able to qualify to move up for the license from that D. You know, that if you had it combined, it wouldn't be able, I don't think, but you and I were talking about that for them to be.
The, we're getting into the weeds here. The computers that run the facility and that will be used to submit reports, those are separate from these computers.
These are
the guys.
These are for, City of Orinoco
Yeah.
staff.
Yeah.
Think about it that way,
It's
yeah.
got all the maps of all the sewer systems,
Yeah.
all the water systems.
Absolutely, yep.
Did you want to make a motion then? You talked about it.
I think it was made and approved,
Yeah, both of those
or
are.
seconded, I'm sorry.
Who made the second? That's what I didn't get.
I did, I think that.
Okay.
whoever did it first.
Any other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, oppose? Thank you. While you're up there, hiring a cleaning service.
Yeah,
We had budgeted $10,000
yep.
for that.
Yep, and if you look at my memo there, however the council decides here, if we want to hire an individual on a flexible weekly schedule, we want to go with an actual cleaning company. What, you guys tell me which way you want to go. My initial thought is we publish for an individual, 1 to 2 hours, couple days a week. And, you know, we find the right candidate.
I think that that's the right way to do it, to give somebody in town an opportunity if they're looking for some extra money to be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Are you willing to put a job description together that details what the expectations are?
Absolutely, yep.
I
And so,
think that would be the right way to do it, and if we don't, then we can always go to a service, but let's give somebody in town that might need to have some extra money an opportunity to do that.
This
Or-
must be the fund is pulled from, is funding available?
community center, repair, maintenance buildings.
Or let me ask, is it? Cause what you're asking here is for someone really to become an employee, or are you saying for a service to come in as a contract?
That's what I'm asking you guys
Okay.
tonight. How do you wanna steer this?
I think it'd be good to look at both, to see what would be cheaper and what do we get for one versus the other, and
Well, I think kind of what, one thing Kane's suggesting, you know, if you're talking about somebody coming in here on Saturday and cleaning the place up for the week, then you don't get your garbage emptied all week, and you don't get your vacuum floor in here gets vacuumed once a week. That kind of thing, instead of somebody
Yeah.
currently in here
Yeah,
on
but-
Sunday and.
I think the thing that's coming up right now too is with the sewer plant starting, even though we're hiring a new person, we're gonna be minus one person every week that's gonna be out at the plant. And so you're back to 3 again with what you're trying to work on.
right, and I'm not,
So,
just to be clear, I'm not saying no. I'm just asking, do we wanna have this as an employee? Or do we want a service to come in and do it, so they're not down as an employee that we're paying benefits and.
well, it would only be part-time
Yeah, it's
anyway.
part-time, but you know what I'm saying? Is it an employee or is it a service? Have you looked into one versus the other? We know what one means.
Yeah, I think, we can go down that road. What I would caution is, you know, the cleaning service is gonna want a set schedule.
Yeah.
They're gonna want whatever the schedule it is we decide on. There's not gonna be,
There'd be no variation from their schedule.
right, I'm just thinking if there's like a bunch of events kind of lined up, or I just want some flexibility, and I just don't know how much flexibility is out there, but I will certainly look into it. The cleaning.
Yeah, I think a part-time, we could probably work something that way as part-time.
We got three temporary seasonal staff coming on that could
Well,
help.
that's only
could help
during the
this
summer. Okay, you know, I mean,
Visit this later this year.
So you make a good point about the flexibility, and I think that's what would lend itself to hiring an individual part-time, and we can, because we got a pretty good idea when the rental market or when the rentals are gonna be over a 2-week period, and we can schedule whatever days it takes to clean up after a committee meeting or a Monday morning rental for the weekend, that type of thing, so.
Sure.
It's okay, why don't we try individual, like's been suggested? And if you want to put a job description together and.
Yep, and then hopefully come back at the April council meeting
Mhm.
with some a recommendation to the council and move forward. So that's,
So you just need direction to go after an
I
ad.
need some direction from you guys.
Job
Absolutely.
description for posting.
Yep,
You already have budget, so.
yep, there's budget.
So I guess just to round it up, I'll make a motion, we approve. Putting together. Job description and a posting for an individual. For 5 to 10 hours a week. I don't know, you want to put that in there right now.
I think we just leave a flexible schedule and, you know, if there's not a lot going on here throughout the week, there's not meetings, there's not events, you know,
Right now, I think you vacuum twice a week.
depending on,
Once,
yeah,
sure.
depending on the need, you know, it's.
Especially the bathrooms and,
Really, I mean, ideally, a cleaning service would be daily, you know, if there's an event, you know, you just wanna,
With flexibility, so somebody could come in here at night and do it too, or
Yeah.
or they could pop in.
Absolutely.
Pop in
But I
early in
think-
the morning and do
okay,
it.
wait a second.
I think we have to call out the hour.
I'll make it
don't
a
we?
second.
Jim?
Another second.
The number of hours.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Any other comments? All in favor of, okay, moving forward, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Right, opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Nay and
A little
nay.
more discussion. on it.
I want more discussion.
Well,
I-
that's what we're gonna put the ad in to try to do that, is what I thought we were gonna do.
Yeah, we're asking you to put together a description
Yeah.
and proceed with the posting.
Details to be determined.
Yeah, I just wanna understand how many hours. Cause we've never done it where we are fluid with hours, so 5 or 10 or whatever it becomes. Maybe we say no more than X hours. If we had that, I'm in favor.
If you could you watch and figure out how many hours we spend right now on cleaning and what that ends up being
Well, he's
on a
got
weekly basis?
he's got the prices figured out here for.
Come back.
Yeah, because I mean, well. 10 hours
Up
of.
to hours or whatever, something like
I'll have something at the April council meeting.
Okay.
that.
How's that?
Well,
I'll have a couple things for the April council meeting.
Okay.
let me
How's
ask
that?
this, Kane, for your public works staff, you have a minimum hours call in, say, you call somebody in, what are they, if they're minimum of 2 hours pay? Something like that, or 4, or what is it?
You know, we're working through that right now, an on-call policy for the future, yep.
Right, well, I'm just saying that that's the case, and I wouldn't expect these people to be any different. If you have them show up for work, they can't come show up for an hour. Who can afford to drive here
Wow,
more than
that's-
3 miles away for,
Yeah.
for 15 bucks, and then have social security held out of it.
Move on.
Everybody.
Unfinished business, update policy, personal policy,
Oh, wait, you need number 2.
we had 3-2.
We
No,
got
number
J2.
The rental agreements.
Oh, rental agreements, thank you.
Yep.
I put my arrow through wrong. Mike and staff put together an updated community center agreement as well as a shelter agreement.
So Ryland, did the person who was requesting it, did they review these and comment?
Yeah, we had a proposal come to us, and it really was a lease agreement, and that kind of prompted us to have Mike look at our current agreement in light of what that came in. So in review of that, he came back and kind of updated. I'm not sure when the original agreements were written, but they needed to be reviewed.
And the person who was requesting the change, did she review it and is she okay with it or has she not reviewed it? Oh, she is,
He
okay.
was very appreciative of the effort, and that was great.
I like the underlying part of it, the user must clean up the community center following the use of the property and must leave the community center in the same position as it was upon arrival.
Yeah, so
I
you
think that's
just,
good.
we put a lot in there from just a bunch of cities have those and yours is a little bit skimpy on some of the just basic
I get you.
requirements that you're gonna request. I mean, they should be cleaning up and that kind of thing.
Right.
So one question I have, do we know, and maybe this is a question for Kane, do we know what it costs after an event to clean on the average?
I'd say 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 labor hours.
And what, if you had to put a dollar amount to that? Cause I just wanna make sure we're recouping, in our deposit even that amount. So if someone comes in here and they totally ransack the place or, leave it a big mess, which we know some have.
Yep,
Um,
they have.
Yeah, what are we looking at for costs? Are we recouping the cost if we say, even if they're going to be in here, we've got our $30 rental fee if they're less than 2 hours. But they could be here less than 2 hours and really make a mess. So are we getting our money back in those situations?
At $30, no.
But in our statement, we asked for $150 deposit for 2 hours or more. And the security deposit is only cash in the event of damage to the facility or to cover cleanup costs.
Yeah. And I guess that was my question, that 150, would that cover that cleaning?
I think you probably should.
No, it's a damage deposit, not a cleaning deposit.
Well,
It's 250.
You can't say it's both the same.
Well, the park has for the park, they have a cleaning deposit down there. They have two deposits. You have a damage deposit and a cleaning deposit, plus your rent, plus your rental. That's where it was last year when the GOP rented it.
There was only one. There was a
They were trying,
rental deposit
right?
in
There
case
was
you
a-
canceled, and then there was a damage deposit.
I'd have to check with Gail McAvoy, but if I recall, it was $50 for one and $150 for the other fee.
Yeah, the 50 was
They
a
were
rental
refunded.
deposit that you didn't get back if you canceled.
It was just cancellation. Okay, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't understand it that way.
so then, with that said, does the 150, would that cover cleaning if we had to come in and do extensive cleaning?
Yes.
Okay. I just don't want us going backwards.
Well, he says 3 hours, it's $50 an hour.
Yeah.
You know,
But that's only on
Plus-
the rentals of 2 hours or more. We don't do deposits on all of them.
You had to work hard to do a deposit for 2 hours.
Yeah.
To trash it that much,
Yes.
but.
well, you get a lot, you spare a lot of
Even
birthday
those
cake
damage
tire off.
off.
For celebrations.
I mean, you can, but
I make a motion, we approve the 2 new rental agreements.
I'll second that.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
So that's the same.
Unfinished business. Personnel policy,
Jim?
Okay, so just an update to that.
thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. The policies went out to Nico and team. They came back today. There were some additional edits. Some things were minor. I think what we want to do is wait till Jason gets here to review them as well and then finalize them within, well, Jason gets here at the end of this month, so it'd be good if we could finalize them maybe by the next one or the following.
He starts Monday, doesn't he, the 25th?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's gonna jump in right
Yeah.
away to be able to do this with everything else that's
Right.
going
Maybe,
on.
maybe we'll give a little bit of time.
Yeah,
Maybe-
I mean, we're on
Maybe
board. I
May.
know there's some stuff that there is, especially with the on-call situation that we're looking at with the water and sewer plant. And those we left out purposely because we wanted to make sure that Jason could take a look at that. And Kate and I have gone over a couple different items that there are, but haven't just put it inside that policy. So that's one thing that's missing. But other than that, everything else is there and agreed upon, so.
And that'll give time for the rest of the council to look at it, to
Mhm.
comment on
Yeah.
it. Okay?
So, but it's done.
Update on the higher status?
Look, go ahead, Jim, you wanna do that one or? No,
Go ahead.
Lori has started, on Monday. So she's here and on premises. Public Works. We're still working on that, where we've interviewed and trying to figure out, we're basically down to 2, I think, that we feel might fit the bill, so.
So Lori's hours is 20 hours per week, plus 5 hours for P and Z minutes.
Right, so we looked at 25 hours is what we did for her, so we can use her for other things that there are besides the P and Z minutes if we need, so.
So she's working 25 hours every week.
Mhm. And we agreed for 5 hours.
So I thought the
in
motion was for
P&Z,
20 hours.
Plus 5 for
Plus
P,
5 for P and Z.
but we're also saying if we've got extra time, that we don't need that total 5 hours for P and Z, we could use her for other things as well.
It was 25 hours a week.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know if we wanna hold that at this point.
Yeah, so that's
You
20 plus
know,
5.
it was 20 and 5.
Let me look at the budget here. So the budget was for $25 an hour. $25 hours per week, okay. Just want to make sure that was right. Okay. All right, one other question about Lori. I understand staff has not received her offer letter yet for the file.
Yeah, I can bring it in. Yeah. I'll make sure Jason gets a copy for her file.
Yeah, that's fine. It's something we haven't seen or heard, so. Or staff has it and seen it. All right, and,
That should go to Jason as a city administrator.
last item is a update on the mobile
No,
home.
no, that one's been tabled for next month. We did
Oh,
that, pull
that's
that
right.
up.
Table. You saw the letter from CMS, it's in the packet. Okay.
We didn't want to go into that.
So our next item is a, closed session regarding Mr. Baker's, position.
So Ryan, I've done the work on that. I'm just gonna say a few things about it. So one, if you do close the session, you shouldn't reference him as an employee. You should reference him as an individual that is subject to the city's authority. He's not, you don't want to acknowledge that he's an employee at this point, if you're gonna do this. Secondly, there is a requirement that he has the right to have the meeting open to the public. It's in the statute that I referenced in the memo. And so there's no direct notice requirement in the statute, but there's a case, an appellate case, Clearwater versus Independent School District number 166, that's found that if you don't give him notice, that is constructive denial of his request to open. So another constructive, meaning even if he doesn't make a request to open, the court will constructively infer that if you don't give him notice of the hearing. So I don't know that we didn't give him notice, but he's not here. So those are my comments on it. So based on that, I'm not advising you to do that. That's all I can say about it, I guess.
I make a motion that we close and take a vote to see if we can close it.
One second.
So we have a motion. By Jeff Phillips and seconded by Jim Richards, right?
Yep.
I guess the other thing I didn't say
I'm
this,
sorry.
but you know, I had you reference him as an individual subject to his authority, but there's law on that. I mean, I'm not warranting in any way that would be upheld by a court. So if you're moving forward at your own risk, it's just that puts you in the best position, you know. Which is still not a good position, but at least it's a better position. So, but that I'm not, you know, you're going against my advice and I'm not, you know, there's no legal warranty here that what you're doing is okay.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that we're based on what our attorney just told us. We're not doing an open meeting. The gentleman's not here. And, it seems with legal warranty is a concern for the city. And, I don't think it's something the city should consider doing. Putting the city at risk,
Oh, one more thing.
the taxpayers at risk.
Made notes here, so don't take any votes in the closed session too. If there's any votes that are gonna be taken, my advice to you is to take a recess open the meeting, or if you choose not to close the meeting, you could just have this discussion in open session, but regardless, recess the meeting and talk to me about it, and I've got sample motions here for various things, so that would be the other.
So it could be closed for discussion only.
You can.
Right, we can't make a, vote,
Yeah.
which is fine, we're not.
So there's a motion and a vote to close the session. Question is it legal to do that? I'm advising you not to do that. If you do it anyway, at least do the following things. Don't reference him as make sure the minutes reference him as an individual subject to your authority. Number one. Number two, don't take any votes in the closed session. And then third, if you're gonna take votes, recess the meeting and tell me and I will assist you with that.
Take a vote.
I just want to
yeah.
make sure it's turned off for the
Yeah.
closed session.
You have to, if you're gonna do a closed session, you have to
You have to get that on.
separately record it.
Right.
Is that recording or is that not recording? Or what's that doing
He
right
turned
now?
it off
It's not
now.
recording now.
They haven't taken the vote yet, so turn it, yeah.
It's not recording.
Oh, it never was.
No, I haven't started.
Oh, okay, I get you, yeah.
It's recording.
No, his recorder, not the video.
The digital recorder, not the.
Oh, not the Zoom. So there's a difference.
Talking about Zoom. Yeah.
What else will be, but anyway. Okay, take a vote.
No, all in favor of the closed session signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Nay? Okay. Right, so the agenda item is preliminary consideration of allegations against, this-
So you voted to close the session, correct?
Yes.
yeah,
So you gotta
I'm
close
sorry.
it then, right?
Yeah.
No, doesn't he have to read that statement
Let's
first?
leave the
or-
introduction first.
Oh, yeah. Well, so that,
First.
no, that's while you're in closed session, but also understand that whole script is premised on the fact that he's here and been notified. So like you'll read through there, it's got times for him to be here. So I would just, well, why don't we close the session and then I'll try and help you.
Okay, so kick these guys out.
So at this time, I'll ask everybody to leave.
You guys are such arrogant fools. You don't even listen to your legal counsel.
Leave the building, right? Or
Okay, so we're back in open session and I don't know if I need to make a motion to
Just continue on.
So if there's just consent agenda, you gotta do that.
what else I'm concerned about the stop construction for the consent agenda. Is it,
on the consent, yes.
is it, we're gonna pay this amount? Is that a final amount or is that,
No, they're still working out there.
I think we still got
What don't we
2.5% back, don't we, Rylan?
I'm sorry.
And just me.
what,
Oh,
el-
yeah.
what else is in the balance after, if we pay this amount? Cause I hate to pay somebody to shingle your roof before they put the cap on top of it.
So they're asking
Make sure
for
it gets done.
200,000.
No, they're asking for 561,000.
Yeah,
Oh, there it is.
That was 561.
But I thought
Majority of stuff that.
they had 5%. I thought that they were holding back and we said we were gonna cut that half to 2.5%. So they still have 2.5%. Is that right, Rylan? That's what I understand.
Right, at 521,000.
So-
So there's a sheet in here that kind of goes through it, like what it started with and where we're at.
But I mean, we still have 2.5% that we held back.
Right.
Okay, so it's not the total, so we got 2.5% back.
So you're talking leverage, if something's not done, we still have
Right,
leverage.
right.
Okay, I just
Okay, so-
want to make sure we have
Yeah.
leverage.
Yeah,
It's not
oh,
done
yeah,
yet.
absolutely. So that was my understanding.
Okay.
So with that, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I second that.
Any other comments? All right, no other comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved, opposed, that's approved. Make a motion, the meeting adjourned at 8:45.
Second.
Favor signify by saying aye. Opposed,
And
saying
Kane, before you leave, I want to give you a phone number. I see you bought a broom. I just want to give you a number of another guy that sells brooms.
That, still recording.
Okay. Brush for